Before we get to the video, before we get to the games that I am about to do in a few hours or so, let's knock out these stupid ass, problematic, idiotic news articles that basically, I don't know why, but it makes no goddamn sense. Ugh. I did one last night, or rather yesterday, and I was just so upset that even in the other articles that I did do, well, what can I say? What can I say? I was that pissed. This time I am not pissed. I am actually going to blow these sons of bitches out of the water. All in one video, because I don't feel like doing 3 videos at once. So, what you see is what you're going to get. 3 videos. I mean, three articles in one video. Enjoy. The first one comes from the Huffington Post in the parent section. And, I know that Halloween is long gone. And we're moving on to Thanksgiving and the dreaded Black Friday. So, here it is coming from the Huffington Post. A mom lets son wear a KKK Halloween costume. Says it's a family tradition. I'm not going to play this because I don't really feel it's necessary. A Virginia mother let her 7-year-old son wear a Ku Klux Klan costume this Halloween because she insisted it's a family tradition. Jessica Black of Craigsville, Virginia, let her son Jackson dress as a Klansman with a floor-length white hood and a floor-length white robe and a full-face white hood. According to the local ABC affiliate WHSV, the outfit garnered media attention after a photo of a boy dressed in the KKK regalia was posted to the WHSV Facebook page. When Black was confronted by the network, she defended her decision. Dumb bitch. My brother has worn it, and when he was in kindergarten, and when he was 13, Black said. She went on to claim that there's nothing wrong with the costume or with the white supremacist group. Oh, there's everything wrong with that group, which she says still exists in their Virginia town. It's supposed to be white with white, black with black, man with woman, and all that. That's what the KKK stands for. How ignorant she is. Moving on. Facebook users were not happy about the attire. A mini KKK costume in our area. Something sounds like something we all should be concerned about. No room for this racist on this planet. One respondent wrote on the No room for racists on this planet. One respondent wrote on the WHSV Facebook page. Another defended Charles on the station's Daybreak Facebook page, saying he probably thought it was a ghost costume. Some users were angry that the town was being criticized for the act of one individual, but others criticized these people for missing the larger point. The fact of the matter is that this event could have happened anywhere in the U.S., and you all being more outraged, your town has a bad name than the actual issue at hand is extremely disappointing, wrote one woman. A few of you have missed the point completely. Just because we're in a new century doesn't mean that racism is a thing of the past. Racism is alive and well. If you open your eyes, you see it clearly. It's been quite the Halloween season for offensive costumes. First there was actress Julian Hughes' major mistake of going out in blackface to portray Orange is the New Black character Crazy Eyes, then two men thought it'd be funny to go out as Trayvon in blackface and George Zimmerman. And Alea's about to face backlash on Twitter as a young woman who decided to dress up as a Boston bombing victim. So much for setting a good example on our kids. Alright, now for my 2 cents about this. And I'm going to be quite honest. First off, for those who know about the KKK and what they entail, they are, anywhere, terrorists. Yes, they are a white supremacist group, but they also do terrorist acts in the name of everything as it should be, quote unquote. They believe that, white people are supposed to be with white people, black people are supposed to be with black people, man is supposed to be with woman, and all that. Well, apparently they aren't aware of the change that is happening, which means all flavors of the rainbow, all men can find peace with one another. We can mix and match with people outside our own race, and yet make a fabulous array of children. That much is true. What is also true is that they have been a pain in the ass since the 50s. Maybe even longer than that. I do not find it... I want to say that, yeah, it is absurd that you say, oh, well, you see, it's a family tradition. It's a family tradition to dress up like one of the members of the KKK. And next year you're going to find, and next year you're going to probably dress up, and probably next year somebody is going to dress up as Adolf Hitler if they haven't done that yet. There are some things that people find really offensive. The following that have been just named are just that. You see, people cannot forget. That's the thing. People cannot forget what happened in the past. Because bloodlines. When you think about it, you really can't just... You can't just say, oh, after 50 years... Oh, it's okay now. I can dress up as this. No. I'll share this because, well, this is true when I say this. When I was in Japan, most people do not like black folks. And most black folks live in Roppongi. Reason why I say this is because, well, it sort of is the truth. Because of what happened back then with Pearl Harbor and all that, there are some families or some bloodlines that cannot forgive, let alone forget about what happened back then. It is hard. It is terrible. But for the most part, there are just some things you just can't forget. Really, there are just some things you can't forget. You know, being either Japanese, Jewish, German, or even black, or whatever else. It is not easy because, well, You just can't forget something like that. That's harsh. I can understand why people would find that offensive. It really is offensive. And the thing is, the parent is just ignorant. Plain and simple. The kid, you don't blame the kid for what he doesn't know. He doesn't know about the KKK. He doesn't know what they're about. He's just wearing a costume. If you really think about it, that's all he's doing. He's just following Halloween. He's just following Halloween. You know, you wear a costume, you go out, get candy, come back home, and you eat the spoils. That's all there is. And let me tell you, in order to move on, you have to forgive. It might take a while for you to forget, but you have to forgive that which happened long ago. It's the first step towards acceptance, and it's the first step towards seeing things in a better light. I would quote Dragon's Dogma. Really, I would. But, there are words. I can only say there are words about this. And for the most part, I'm just going to move on with this subject. So the mom is a dumbass. Enough said. Our second article comes from mom.me. And in the loop we have the craziest school rules. And there are 10 of these things. From backpacks to cartwheels, these schools have certainly pushed the limits. And yes, each one of these websites I am going to share in one full-blown video. Because once again, you be the judge about it. I plan to share it because, well, you be the judge. You're the one watching, or you're the one listening, or however, and you feel you need to share your 2 or 5 or 10 cents, maybe 25. Please, I'm interested in what you have to say. Even if you don't have anything to say, I want to know what do you think about all this. I'm really curious. Okay, the crazy school rules, and ladies and gentlemen, you are going to hear some stupidity happening. The first one, and it goes in any order, mind you. It goes in any order. Hugging. Go away. Hugging. Parents of children at Coghlan Fundamental Elementary School in Aldergrove, British Columbia, received a surprising letter from the school last week informing them of a touchy new policy. We have unfortunately had to ban all forms of hands-on play for the immediate future. We will have a zero-tolerance policy, the handout stated, and adding that disobeying the new rule will result in being grounded during playtime or a trip to the principal's office. For those who are unable to follow the rules, when I saw go away, please go away. When I saw no hands on would be allowed, I got mad. I got so upset. Mom Julie Chen told Providence, "What is happening in our society when our kids aren't even allowed to be kids anymore? They become douchebags." The school, however, is defending him, citing recent injuries in the past few weeks. "I don't know how anyone would be against it," said school employee Arthur Burke. "They're just trying to make it safe for everybody." They're not the only one. A school in New Jersey banned hugging last year due to unsuitable physical interactions between students. Is this a growing trend? Yeah. Next. Flaming Hot Cheetos! The fuck? You could probably understand junk food being banned at some schools, especially with a nationwide emphasis on battling childhood obesity. But Flamin' Hot Cheetos specific ban? Seems kind of random and selective, no? And yet schools in California, New Mexico, and Illinois have banned just Flamin' Hot Cheetos, citing the neon-orange snack poor nutritional value. Somewhere there are Funyuns, Doritos, and Fritos inside a cafeteria vending machine, giving each other the snack-sized version of a high five. Well, I don't know. I mean, I like Flamin' Hot Cheetos every now and then, but I don't really eat Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Although I do eat the jalapeno kind. But still, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, yo, seriously. Red ink. At some schools, children are prohibited from using anything to write other than pencils. After all, mistakes happen and need to be erased and corrected. At other schools, blue and black ink pens are deemed appropriate within appropriate writing instruments. Generally speaking, however, most teachers frown upon students using red ink to avoid confusion with their own pens. But at Uplands Manor Primary School in Smithwick, West Midlands in England, even the teachers are prohibited from using red ink. Why? To ensure the students aren't traumatized by it, because it can be, quote-unquote, too hard on the children. Green, on the other hand, is an encouraged color for teachers because of its less confrontational aura. When I was working as a teacher, what I did was I was told to use a purple, because we use purple pens to do the tests. I mean, we did it like this. We use green Sharpies, purple pens, and red pens. We use them for different kinds of tests and scores. I mean, yeah, different kinds of tests. Like if it was, say, like if it was a pop test or something, like a pop quiz or something, we'd use red. We use red ink. If it was like a major test, purple. And when it was time to put in grades, we usually made something like a score, and the final analysis of the score would be in green Sharpie. That was the only time. But other than that, red ink, I can understand why. Red ink is not for kids. It's for teachers only. So I don't know why that should be a rule, but it used to happen in my school, so I'm just gonna move on. Background checks. There's no question there are perverts among us. Hopefully they're not related to our kids' classmates. But at the Isambard Community School in Swinton Wilts. Okay. That's one you like it. Swindon Wilts in England. They're not taking any chances. If you're a parent who wants to attend your child's sporting event, you must clear a Criminals Record Bureau check to ensure you're not a pedophile. If you don't take the test, you can't watch your kid. Overseas, yo. Overseas. Cartwheels. A school in Sydney, Australia recently told the students to stay upright their whole day. as handstands and handstands are no longer allowed unless under the supervision of a trained gymnast teacher and with correct equipment. You know, because potential lawsuits from injuries that haven't happened are apparently more important than kids who sit around and turn to couch potatoes. And all I can hear is, like, a couple years from now, I have kids and they do cartwheels. Or they're trying to do a handstand. And they're going to say, "Daddy, look!" I'm going to look at them and say, "Hey, you can actually do that? Awesome. Do a barrel." I really am going to tell my kids that. Do a barrel. Do a barrel. Do a kick flip. A kickstand. Do a flash kick. Do a sonic boom. Do a shoryuken. Do a tatsumaki senpukaku. I'm just going to really fuck with them. I'm just saying, I'm really going to fuck with them. Like, what? So, you know, you're that agile, you should do it. One at a time. No, but really, you know, kids need to be active. That's the thing. Kids really just need to be active. So, yeah. Moving on. Balls! Oh, dear Lord, this is 6 out of 10. If kids can't do cartwheels, at least they can play ball. Unless they go to Earl Beatty Jr. and Senior Public School in Toronto, Canada, where all kinds of balls are banned. Why? A parent complained. One parent complained. A child had been upset by a ball to the head.
So now soccer, football, volleyball, and tennis balls are all off limits. Next item on the ban list at the school, fun. What's left of it anyway?
Maybe I should do it just... You know what? Let me just do this.
Hand holding. To some, oral sex is a gateway sexual activity. But hand holding a gateway sexual activity? Well, yes, at least in Tennessee, where lawmakers included language in the state's abstinence-based sex education law to include hand-holding and kissing, because we all know hand-holding can lead to warm feelings and affection.
And of course, the logical next step is underage premarital sex, which leads to welfare, drugs, and a life of crime. And who do we blame?
The parents.
That's right, we blame
the parents.
Next is best friends. Friends are the sunshine that help make days brighter. Believe me, I have plenty. And especially in school, where friends can be people to laugh and offer a shoulder to cry on when needed. But at school in England, best friends are off limits to spare kids the pain of a friend breakup. No matter how those schools plan on preparing kids for the real world, where breakups are a fact of life, but then again, this isn't real life, it's school. And I've said this in a video which I never did post, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I consider those that I talk to on Skype to be my best friends. I did have friends growing up. And yes, we hung around. But as time passed, they moved on, and I stayed here. For the most part, that I did manage to try to keep a level head about things. I did miss having my friends around. Whether they were across the street or I met them in school or whatnot. I have friends. But these days, as I'm on Skype, as I'm online every night, I'm thankful for my friends over on the East Coast, which are called Random Co-op. I'm glad for them because often than not, we laugh, we joke, we have a good time, and for what limited time we have together, I cherish that and I enjoy it. So, for every one of you guys in the RCO, the Random Co-op Game Group, y'all my best friends. I just want to take a moment just to say that you guys are my best friends, and I'm pretty proud to have you guys watch my back. Now that I got that out the way, let's go to something even more stupid. Backpacks! The number of books that some students carry has gotten so out of hand that many have wheel backpacks. Or wheel backpacks. Backpacks? But at Michigan school, your backpack can take the day off. All the days off, in fact. That means Jackson High School requires all backpacks to remain in the students' lockers. In an effort to improve safety, stern congestion caused by backpacks, and eliminate a way for students to easily steal things. I'm sure when we all were growing up and we had to deal with backpacks, mine literally tore because of the strain of books. And I used to carry like 3 to maybe 5 books. Maybe more. But I've torn through various backpacks because of the strain. So usually what we did was we basically got like a backpack every year. Or every few years. And then after that, every year, we always get another one. And so to this day, whenever I go out and go do my writing, I still wear a backpack. But mine is lighter. It doesn't have too much stuff in it. It just has my books. And usually that's all. Just books and something else like my 3DS or so. But my backpack. I like it. Doesn't do too much, so. But backpacks, excuse me. Backpacks are usually just, man. They usually cause congestion, and backpacks. I don't know. I like backpacks sometimes, but oftentimes what I usually do is I wear a sack. Like I usually wear a messenger bag. That's all I do. When I used to go to school, I wore a messenger bag. And I remember what it had on it. It had Marvel vs. Capcom. They actually had a picture of Marvel vs. Capcom on it. Just another morning here in LA. So, yeah. And the students found it cool because, showed I'm a gamer. So the older kids found it cool. So I said, hey, Glad you like it. I am still to this day the coolest teacher of that school. I wear that high, thank you. Last thing. Spanking! You'd hope spanking would be banned in school, wouldn't you? Well, rest assured that in 31 states, spanking in school is indeed illegal. Of course, that's for the parents to do! Which parents don't really do that more often than others. Just realize that means in 19 states, spanking in school is totally legal. In 2011, a lawmaker in Florida tried to get the practice banned statewide, but unfortunately and bizarrely, the bill failed. And spanking is still permitted at nearly all schools in the northern part of the state. I feel that as certain kids get out of hand, I'm going to honestly say this. Parents need to spank their kids more. I mean, and one more for good measure, that's what they need to do. Parents these days need to lay their foot down. Because sometimes kids will want to throw a shit fit just to get their way. And there are some parents that basically bend to their will because they don't know that you're older and you have more power behind you. You're just not exerting that power. You're not exuding that power that you are the parent. You have the greater power because you are in control of your pocketbook and what you do for your kids. And they need to realize, oh, I shouldn't fuck with you. You're damn right you shouldn't fuck with me. Because basically, it's like this. You take away one thing, they will suffer for it. But you know what? It will make them better, but they will make them better people. Sometimes I feel, whenever I go out in public, I really want that to happen. I really want to see somebody actually do that. I really want to see a parent actually take their, just put their foot down, bend them over, and whip their kid's ass. Just so I can do this. I will clap for them. Personally, I would just do this. School rules. We've gone from the ignorant to stupid. Now we're going to downright shameful. Actually, that's going to be the name of this video. Okay, shameful. 21 shameful ways we are forcing children to be sissies. The home of the brave, the land of the free, protecting our children from the quote-unquote dangers of every day. Number 1, we punished them for being brave. A Calgary student was scolded for being involved in an incident with a weapon. Sounds pretty legitimate until you realize that he was stopping a potential stabbing from happening in his classroom. School officials hope to make the wayward vigilante an example to any other student who foolishly mistakes saving a life for an act of heroism. I'm sorry to say this, but guys, really, if there is a danger, there's a possible danger no matter where it is, and you can try to stop it, do so. It is the right thing to do. I feel the system is just really, really fucked up. And idiots are actually running the show instead of, intelligent people. Number 2. We make them fear friendship. Parents outrage 5-year-old girls suspended threaten to fire bubble gun. A young girl was temporarily removed from school for talking about using a bubble gun that she didn't have with her. In a typical 5-year-old statement, the girl is quoted as saying that she wanted to shoot herself and her friends with the gun so that they all could be together. Such adorably flawed logic melts the hearts of most people, but for her school district, which are indeed run by a bunch of idiots, it was enough to spur a 3-hour interrogation. Okay, first off, look at the picture and tell me what you see. A toy. You see a toy. Now, I don't know about you, but if I say a flash gun, ray gun, and all it does is just fire sound effects, that's all. It's just going to fire sound effects. And by the power of imagination, which I feel that nobody believes in imagination anymore, I do feel this country have one too many idiots and not enough smart people running the show. And I mean, common sense type of smarts. Number 3. Oh man, this one gets me. We don't let them be themselves. One preschool is demanding the deaf 3-year-old change his name because of the way he signs. It could somehow be mistaken for a weapon. School officials claim that the whole thing is a big misunderstanding, but are continuing to ask the boy to change his name, leading me to wonder exactly what the misunderstanding is. Okay, first off, let's see what the problem is. There are lots of problems here in this. 1, it's a preschool. 2, where the fuck is the teacher in all this? And why doesn't said teacher stand up and be counted and try to defend this one child? 3, once again, the system is run by idiots. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I know you guys have heard all this shit one too many times. You're probably sick of hearing this. But for those who are new and don't know what my story is about, I'm gonna tell you. This kid has a disability. Me and disabilities, we just don't happen to get along well. In fact, if anybody I see have an issue, have some kind of disability, I know there are people out there who have certain disabilities, and it's okay. Let it be known. Mine happens to be cerebral palsy. But the thing about cerebral palsy is that it is controllable. You can make yourself better by simply continuously working at it. I could have been another case if A, I wasn't treated right, B, I didn't have somebody in my corner. And C, if I didn't have the drive and the motivation to push myself to become a better person, I really would have been a stump. My left arm would have been all shriveled up. So would have been my left foot. That would have been all shriveled up. I would probably be in a wheelchair. And if I wasn't treated right, I would be a fucking mess. This kid is trying to have a chance to communicate. Regardless of him being deaf, he is trying. And one thing I have to say is I applaud this kid for actually trying to sign. He is signing the best way he can. And the one thing you should never do is don't count the underdogs out. Never underestimate the power of the underdog. I go by that. Thusly, my motif was, the underdog, the underrated. And I still stick to that. There's a difference between, the underdog and the Tenkaichi. The underdog is basically that one person that nobody believed they could do it. The Tenkaichi is basically that one person that pushes to be the best that they could possibly become. I am both the underdog and the Tenkaichi. One person you should never underestimate because I can become the best I can ever become because of that. And most people don't see it as that because they're ignorant. And regardless of all the hardships that I went through, I somehow attained success and I followed my dreams. And I can only go further than that. And number 3, that really speaks to me. Just be yourself. Don't be something you're not. Don't try to fall in with a crowd that just says, oh, you want to be like us? Well, you're going to have to do some dirty, dirty, dirty work in order to be one of us. Just not worth it. So just be yourself. Accept it. It's alright. You'll be just fine. Number 4. We punish them for sticking to their beliefs. A 7th grade girl in Indiana was suspended for 10 days for violating her school's drug policy by saying no to Adderall. When one of her classmates offered her the pill and placed it into her hand, the girl declined the drug and returned it to its owner immediately. School officials kicked her out of school for possession. And the girl decided that next time she'd say, maybe once, 2 drugs. Once again, idiocy. The system is being run by a bunch of monkeys. And to that I say, DARE. Drug Abuse Resistance Education. You always say no to drugs. Fuck the system if they don't like it. I'm moving on. And I mean all kinds of drugs. When I was younger, I used to pour my dad's alcohol in the toilet, flush it down the drain. I also used to rip up his cigarettes just because I wanted to save his life. I wanted to prolong his life as long as I can. But, well, he got angry, beat my ass, and I try to do what I can. So you can't give me credit for not trying. I always want, those I care about to live as long as they possibly can. Number 5. Moving on. We reprimand them for pulling harmless pranks. A boy was arrested for causing alarm to patrons because a bunch of elderly players looked up when he walked into a bingo hall and yelled, "Bingo!" While the judge pretty much laughed off the case, getting cuffed over a case of boys will be boys is a pretty harsh overreaction. Yeah, because boys will be boys. No. No. See, bingo. You just don't mess. You just don't mess with bingo. You just shouldn't. You don't do it. It's not funny. I'm sorry. You don't. When you pull a prank, it's supposed to be funny. Yet when you do something like that, it's just stupid. Just stupid. Moving on. We force them to be more dependent. Mom arrested. Let's kids play outside. A Texas woman's neighbor called the cops after seeing kids playing outside in the cul-de-sac where they live. The policeman who arrived at the scene proceeded to take the mother to jail, citing reckless endangerment of children, presumably because arresting people is way more policeman-y than not arresting people. The woman spent 18 hours in prison, and your hard-earned tax dollars wept silently in the corner. Short and sweet. When it's daytime, while there is sunlight, you let your kids play outside. It is okay. They need to get out. They need to have fun. They need to be among their own kind. They need to be with other kids. When the sun's about to go down, or when it's getting dark, you call to them to come home, and that's it. When the sun goes down, you get inside. When the sun goes up, you go outside. Simple as that. Even I know. Even with daylight saving time. Even I know. When it gets dark, I go home. While it's light, either I go out, have lunch or whatever, do a bit of work, and then come home before the sun goes down. Simple as that. I may be in my 30s, but still, I know when to go home and, do what I need to do. Come home at a decent hour and not too late. Number 7, we don't let them play with their food. A young boy received a 2-day suspension for biting a toaster pastry in the shape of a gun. The NRA gave the boy a free lifetime membership because one good lapse in logic deserves another. The student's school offered counseling to anyone who was affected by the shocking sight of a half-eaten Pop-Tart. What? What? The students having Pop-Tart, which surely made the school psychologist feel like her master's degree was finally being put to good use. Yeah. I'm sorry, but it's a waste of food. You don't like it, then what you do is you throw it away. I've been through my old job to know. For 5 years, me going in and out of the class, me going from the classroom to the cafeteria, and I stay there for a while because maybe I want to get something to eat, and I watch the kids as I take them from the classroom to the cafeteria, and I watch them get their meals, and they have and they take their seats and everything. Most of them just don't eat the food completely, and they throw it away. Just because they just don't have, that much appetite for it. Pretty simple, pretty easy. From what they see as a gun, I see as a waste of food. Kids, throw away your foods if you're not eating it. Simple as that. You're not hurting anybody. If you had enough, just throw it away and go outside and play. Number 8, we don't let them get their hands dirty. A first grader in Missouri was given a 2-day in-school detention and now has a mark on her school record because she put dirt in a bag, tied it with a hair scrunchie, and gave it to her friend as a present. Her teacher decided to punish her after making the observation that the bag of dirt looked like a bag of weed, except brown and rocky and not resembling weed at all. Okay, exactly how stupid can you be if you see that the bag inside has brown dirt and possibly little rocks in there? And then you're going to accuse or assume that this is a bag of weed. And this is a first grader. And you wonder how the fuck can a little kid smoke a freaking bag of weed at that age? Come on now. Have some common sense, people. Have some common sense. God. Number 9. We punish them for being honest. Shut the fuck up! A girl's not permitted to go to her school dance or picnic after she told her mom about 2 classmates who were getting it on during a spring break trip. The school is unhappy because she waited until she got home to report the incident rather than telling the chaperones, all 8 of them who were watching a movie at the front of a bus and clearly couldn't be bothered by something so awkward as middle school ugly bumping. And thus, the 80s Camp B-horror classic Friday the 13th was born. Number 10, we crush their individuality. No, really? A 5-year-old boy was removed from school because his hairstyle apparently was such a distraction that it caused friction in the learning environment of a kindergarten class. Of a kindergarten class. Hold on. My anger must be sated. The boy had his head shaved after school insisted that no, they really weren't joking, and is now back in class looking like a shadow of the man he used to be. Damn. Really? It's like this. Every month, I always get my hair cut. I always get my beard cleaned off and my head shaved. And always do I wash my hair after it's all said and done. And after I wash my hair and put shampoo on it, I let it cool out, relax, and I basically just massage it after it's done. And you guys seen what my hair looks like after it's being cut, and you've seen what I look like, most of you. And I had to say, a school should not have to do this. This is just stupid. Stupid among all levels of stupidity. Number 11. Oh, dear Lord. We make them ask permission for everything. A 13-year-old was arrested for what most people would call eating the food in your own house. His mom, however, didn't see it that way and had him arrested for stealing her toaster pastries. He was charged with larceny. We can only hope that the Pop-Tart robbery isn't a gateway crime that escalates to the likes of Grand Theft Toaster Strudel. I could just see it now. Freeze! Put the Pop-Tart down right now. Slowly, slowly, Slowly. Slowly. Put your hands up wherever them! Put 'em! Put 'em! You're coming downtown! You've just stolen Pop-Tart! We're gonna take you down! Judge Captain Crunch wanna hear about this. Yeah, and you're gonna see all the old classics there. You're gonna see Wendell the Wolf, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, Boo Berry, and even Sugar Bear. You don't even see Sugar Bear in the local penitentiary. You're gonna see all those motherfuckers just sitting right there, and they all look all so depressed and shit. They throw you in there with all these classic characters, and they all look at you and say, "You too, huh?" Damn, man, damn. Number 12, we crushed their dreams. 3 young girls were told by the police to shut down their lemonade stand because they were not paying the $50 business and food permit required by city law. The police chief was also concerned about the fact that he didn't know how or with what the beverage was made, leading the man to wonder if he was in fact from this planet. I question just about everything today. I do not believe he is from this planet. This person who shall be nameless is from this planet. Number 13. We take away their free speech. No bad words such as, but not limited to, and you guys can't spell worth shit. Hate. Shut up. Stupid. Ass. Dimwit. Shit. Hell. Fart. Gas. Dumb. Pervert. Darn. Shucks. Shiitake. Whiskey. Whiskey Tarp Foxtrot? I don't know what the fuck is that. Whiskey Tango. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? Or Whiskey Tango Forever? I don't know what the fuck. But, poop. Or you shall be spanked. Or you shall be banked. Whatever. A 6th grader in Maryland was removed from school after saying that he wished he had a gun to protect everyone from bad guys. The boy's traumatizing words were enough to prompt an interrogation from the principal and deputy sheriff, but stopping there was simply not enough to protect the innocent. The deputy sheriff then searched the family's home without a warrant because sticks and stones may break bones, but words can shoot people in the chest. I wonder if this deputy sheriff was named Roscoe. And his boss was named Boss Hog. This is Roscoe P. Coltrane. I'm gonna get them 2 boys for calling me a pervert dumbass. Number 14. We teach them to be ashamed of their bodily functions. Well said, Bart. Well said. A belch is not an oral report. A 7th grader in Albuquerque was taken into police custody after burping in gym class. The teacher alleged that he caused his disturbance by belching audibly. This would probably warrant a scolding by the typical grandmother, but some people apparently take table manners a bit more seriously. Well, I don't know about you, but in some cultures, burping is considered a compliment. Specifically on the islands, people just seem to look at a belch and they say, "Oh, thank you. I didn't know you cared." Sometimes my mom, she would be appalled by me burping, and I said, You shouldn't be appalled by me burping. To me, I'm just saying, thank you. So I said, what would be worse? If I had to fart, but instead I took a shit on myself? That would not be kosher. So therefore, let it out. As Shrek would say, better out than in. Better out than in. Let's live by those words. Number 15. We made spreading cooties a sex crime. A teacher called the police because of an elementary school girl kissed a boy on the playground. The teacher called the incident a sex crime. The officer responded at the scene, dismissed the charges, and may or may have not recommended the teacher attend sex ed courses at the district's middle school due to her apparent confusion on such matters. You must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is still a sigh. As wondering as the people go by. I know I fucked that up. As time goes by. God damn it. Idiots. 16. We discourage close personal friendships. Why? Best friends. Forever. Some elementary schools in Britain are adopting the policy of telling students that they should have large groups of friends instead of having a single best friend. The informal ban comes from the concern that the kids' feelings will be hurt if the friendship of best friends forever turned into best friends until we have a fight or drift apart as we mature as individuals and develop separate interests. Let me tell you something. There's nothing better than having somebody watch your back. There's nothing better than, you having somebody to hang with. Somebody that can, watch your back and all that. Somebody who doesn't mind listening to you or you listen to them in kind. And, when the chips are down and you need somebody, you always gonna need a friend. So really, I'm sorry. That's, you should never just not have friends. No man is an island, as they say. Number 17. We take away their balls. And just like Mega Man X7, we take away their balls. We took away Mega Man's balls. An elementary school has banned all non-foam balls citing safety concern. The ban includes soccer balls, footballs, baseballs, volleyballs, and basketballs. Children and their parents are protesting the prohibition since standing around and doing nothing at recess is as much fun as it sounds like it is. And I'm going to quote Flame High for this. You know what the school could do? The school could go, burn to the ground, 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 burn! Thank you. Number 18. We prevent them from being educated. No, you don't say! A parent's complaint about the dictionary's inclusion of the word oral sex, that's 2 words, has prompted a ban on the book in Southern California. The book's definition of the word, or 2 words, which is written oral stimulation of the genitals, was considered too obscene for elementary school students. This concerned parent can now sleep well knowing that her child will go to more reliable sources, such as the internet, when he or she eventually hears the term and wants to learn what it means. Okay, for those who don't know what oral stimulation of the genitals is, blowjob, rim job, licking the ball and cupping them with your hands. sucking them, rolling them in your mouth, jerking into the person's mouth, giving them a cum shot. Oh yes, there's more. A slobber knocker. In this case, yes, you're slobbering all over my junk. And other 9,000 phrases to quote oral sex. In short, you're basically dumbing down kids for wanting to know what oral sex is, or in layman's terms, a blowjob. Kids want to know, but they'll find out eventually. And when they do, they'll turn to you and they will say, I didn't know what this is. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe! Such idiocy can only be labeled as thus. Number 18, we prohibit them from acting like adults. A 12-year-old girl was arrested for spraying perfume in school after classmates were bullying her. She was charged with a misdemeanor after spraying the scent twice. Meanwhile, high school girls across the nation continue to hope for similar treatment of their male classmates who bathe in Axe. Oh, grow up. You want them to become a good influence? Then how about you act like it? Don't be dumb. And don't play ignorant. I've seen too much of that shit in my neck of the woods. Number 20. We don't let them stand up for what they believe in. A high schooler was suspended for 5 days after an anti-bullying video she made for her business and communications class. The assignment required her to make a persuasive promo, which she did so effectively that some of her classmates were moved to tears. The principal caught wind of the buzz and punished the girl for disrupting the learning environment, and underachievers everywhere were given a reason to avoid doing their homework. Yes, because, hey, it's what you do, it's what you do! Pick it up, it's what you do! Oh, God, let me stop that. And the last one, we don't let them play rough. A little boy was suspended and had an account of sexual battery on his school record for brushing up against his friend's leg and groin area during a game of tag. The school took the charge off the boy's record after learning that sexual assault by 6-year-olds does not legally exist in California. The boy's parents were threatening legal action for making their son out to be a sexual predator when he was still young enough to believe that girls had cooties. It's time to reevaluate the way we coddle the future generation. Making mistakes and getting hurt is how you grow. Teaching kids to fear Pop-Tarts is how to promote xenophobia. Let's get it together, America. To everything that I've said so far about these three, that's right, these three stories that I've just mentioned, let me just say, to the parents, if you are a parent, do not be a dimwit. Don't act like they don't need to know. They do need to know. If they ask you a question, stand up and just say, well, let me tell you what it's about, you know. Just be upfront and honest. What's wrong with kids asking questions? And to all these, news articles that I just read, again, we have ignorance, stupidity, and shameful. 3 things that go together, and we need to put a stop to it. Because to be quite honest, that is how we grow. We learn from our mistakes. And pain is a part of life. So therefore, there are no safe states in life. You cannot basically take a part of life, try to put a button on it, and just say, oh, I'm going to save states, and then just do it over. There are no do-overs in life. But we can learn from it and become better people. So with that, my good people, that should be in the end of this. And of course, I'm going to share all these articles in the video description box, and hopefully you have some interesting comments to share. If YouTube isn't straightened out, but I will read your comments, and of course, hopefully there is some intelligence behind all this. Hopefully, to those who are parents or whatever. It's all good and hood. But anyway, I have been the Tenkaichi of Gaming, Ichigo Musco, and I'll see you soon with more videos.